Okay, let's proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Scipione, I want to invite your attention to August 6th of 2003. On that date, did you have a meeting with Anthony Staino at 8th and Dickinson Streets in South Philadelphia?
Yes.
And did you record that meeting?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the contents of that recording and the transcript?
Yes.
And does the recording and the transcript accurately reflect the conversation you had with Anthony Staino on that day?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of this meeting?
Loan shark payment.
May we play the audio, which is marked as Government Exhibit 1.6, and the transcript is 1.6A in tab 6 of the transcript book.
Which tab number was that?
6. Scipio, if you could take a look at page 2 of that transcript, line 10. Anthony Staino says, put this all in your handwriting. What was he referring to?
The list that he had. He wanted me to transcribe it in my handwriting.
Now, line 14, Anthony says, I mean, I was just saying he looks like a cop. He looks like a cop. Who was he referring to when he says he looks like a cop?
Vinny.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Mr. Scipione, I'm showing you what's been marked as Government Exhibit 3C2. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that document is?
This is a list of all of Vinny's people.
Your Honor, the government moves for admission of 3C2, and request that the exhibit be
No objection,
published to
Judge.
the
No
members.
objection.
Case admitted.
Now, at the right side of this sheet of paper, there is a figure of $23,015. What does that amount represent?
All the money's owed by Vinny's people, interest and payment.
And is that as of 7/14/03?
Yes.
All right. Now, below that is a list of names. What does that refer to?
That's going to be as of 7/28, an additional $6,300.
And that's owed by whom?
Vinny.
And those people that are listed there, those are people that were loaned money by Vinny?
The names that I had under him.
Okay. So that figure of $6,300 at the bottom of that list, is that a weekly payment that must be made by Vinny as of that
To me,
date?
it looks like a 2-week because it's 7/14, then 7/28. That's 2 weeks.
All right. Now, on the left side of that sheet of paper, there are a list of names and figures. What do those names refer to?
So Vinny's names that were under Vinny.
And there are numbers there ranging from 0 to as much as 7 next to each of those names and dollar amounts. What does that refer to?
The zeros would be they just started, or I'm sorry. Zeros mean no payments left, and then the ones mean 1 left, and the 3s mean 3, and the 5s mean 5, and the 7s mean 7 left.
Now, Mr. Scipione, pursuant to the instruction by Anthony Staino, did you actually copy that list he gave you and put it into your own handwriting?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a person with us, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm now showing you what's been marked as Government Exhibit 353.
Judge, there's no objection, just to speed things up, that can be published in the jury.
Okay, that'll be admitted.
Can you tell us what that document is there?
That's his document copied by me in my handwriting.
Okay, and what did you do with both of those lists that you were given? The first list that was given by Anthony Staino and the one that you created copying his list.
I gave them to the FBI along with the recording.
And when you refer to giving things to the FBI and obtaining recording devices, who was your main point of contact with the FBI?
Jack Martinelli.
And do you see Agent Martinelli in the court today?
Yes.
You point him out for us?
Perhaps you can stand.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness is identified
That's
Special Agent Martinelli in the court by point of finger.
So noted.
Thank you. You take a look at page 3 of the transcript. Line 9 and 10. Anthony Staino says, made an agreement. I said, listen, come every fucking week and keep... I'm sorry, what page are we on? Line 9 and 10.
Page 3.
3. Line 9, Anthony Stano says, I made an agreement, come every fucking week and things keep on going. Can you tell us what you understood Anthony Stano to mean when he said that?
And he told Vinny to come every week and pay every week because Vinny was always missing.
Now, there's a reference to Dino in this recording. The very top of page 3, lines 1, 2, and 3. You're describing you're describing Dino to Stano. By this time, had Dino been introduced to
Yes.
Anthony Stano? Okay. And obviously, a meeting has already occurred between Anthony Stano and Vinny.
Yes.
I want to move on, Mr. Scipione, to March 7th of 2005. On that day, did you attempt to call Anthony Stano on the telephone and leave a message on his voicemail?
Yes.
And did you record the making of the call?
Yes.
Have you listened to that recording?
Yes.
And have you reviewed the transcript of that recording?
Yes.
Does the recording and the transcript both accurately reflect the information, the message that was left?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to play recording 1.7. The transcript is 1.7a, and the transcript can be found in tab 7 of the transcript book.
Okay? Let's proceed.
Hey buddy, how you doing? It's just me. I just got your message, but I'm going to let you know I'll see you next Monday or Tuesday. I just want to give you a call to touch base. And I'll give you a call the day before. All right, buddy? Thanks, pal. Talk to you.
Mr. Scipione, why was it necessary for you to meet with him the following week?
For a payment, loan shark payment.
Now, I want to take you back to earlier in your testimony. You told this jury that you never told your wife that you cooperated with the FBI.
Right.
At some point, you moved out of Philadelphia with your
Yes.
wife. And even after you left the Philadelphia area, you never told your wife that you cooperated with the FBI.
Right.
What did you believe would happen if you did tell her?
She'd leave me.
Why?
Because we don't do that. We don't do what I'm doing. We just don't do it.
She would have held it against you.
100%.
Are you together with her today?
No.
Did she leave you?
Yep.
Mr. Scipio, you told this jury that you were born in Philadelphia and you grew up in Philadelphia. You spent your entire life in the city. Based on what you've done by cooperating with the FBI, can you ever come back here?
I believe not.
Why?
No. Just not what we do. Just not what
What
I'm.
would happen to you if you came back and went back to the same neighborhood that you grew up, you were raised, went to school?
I would just feel very uncomfortable and unsafe.
Your Honor, at this time, the government would move into evidence exhibits 1.1, 1.1a, 1.2, 1.2a, 1.3.1, 1.3.2, 1.3a, 1.4, 1.4a, 1.5, 1.5a, 1.6, 1.6a, 1.7, 1.7a, 1.7.1, 1.7.1a, in addition to Government Exhibit 10C. I believe 3C1, 3C2, and 3C3 have already been admitted and published. And with the admission of those exhibits, the government has no further questions for this witness.
Okay, they're admitted. Cross-examination?
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Scipione. How are you?
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Scipione, you and I have never met, have we?
No.
And therefore, we've never discussed this case, have we?
No.
Okay. Now, my name is Ed Jacobs, and I represent Joe Legambi. Have you ever met Joe Legambi?
Maybe once, maybe at that party, I just said hello, introduced him. So,
But your current wife, Janice, knows Joe's wife, Olivia. Is that right?
yes,
Which is how you came to be at the birthday of one or both of Joe's sons.
yes,
Were those his twin boys' party?
I think so.
It's a nice party?
Yes,
Get treated nicely?
yes,
Now, Mr. Scipione, today is the first day you've been in this courtroom, isn't it?
yes,
You were not here yesterday, for example.
no,
So therefore, you did not hear the opening statements given by the government or given by defense counsel,
no,
including my opening statement.
no.
Okay. Now, I want you to think back to that day that you were working at that car dealership,
Yes.
okay? How long had you been on that job?
Oh, jeez, it was my first week.
Okay. And what were your car salesman?
Yes,
Were you doing okay?
I didn't make a sale yet.
And as you recounted the occurrences that day, somebody showed up looking to buy a car from you.
Yes,
A positive development, right? A positive development.
yes, yeah,
Potential customer.
yes,
So you were eager to take him on a test drive because that might result in the purchase of a car and a commission to you.
yes,
Was it a new car he was test driving?
yes.
All right. What kind of car?
It was a truck, I think he wanted to, or an SUV. It was. I can
So
remember.
you and the prospective car buyer got into this SUV, and you pulled out of the dealership, right?
Yes,
And I think you said you proceeded to give him some directions,
yes,
but he didn't follow the directions.
right,
And I guess you were wondering why.
yes.
Yeah. And this is the middle of 2003.
Yes, if I could recall, yeah,
All right. So it's just you and this prospective car buyer. He's at the wheel and you're a passenger.
yes,
And I think you said you told him to make a left and he made a right.
yes,
And you're saying to yourself, why do you do that?
right,
Starting to get a little uneasy?
yes,
Okay. Then he pulls over and somebody else hops in the car.
yes,
Now you're really uneasy,
yes,
all right? Because you owed all this money. And it's probably crossing your mind that this might be a mob enforcer trying to get money off you or something like that. Is that what you were thinking?
Really, no.
What were you thinking?
I had no idea. I thought they were holding me up or something, or,
Might be a carjacking, they might be stealing money,
yeah,
right? But it turns out that they quickly identified themselves as FBI agents, right?
yes,
So now you're saying to yourself, what is the FBI doing in my car?
Yes.
The dealership's car. And what did you say to yourself?
thought I was getting arrested.
For what? What'd you do wrong? What had you done wrong by that point?
I was a bookmaker. I was Gambler, I
Well,
mean,
it could have been a lot of things. You owed $147,000 in back taxes you hadn't paid, right?
right, could, yes.
So a lot of that $147,000, that, you didn't mention that to the jury, did you?
I wasn't asked that question.
Okay, and you can't answer a question you're not asked, right?
Yes.
All right. But it is the truth that you owed $147,000, and now you're confronted by the FBI, right?
Yes.
And you're no dummy.
No, well,
You're thinking, maybe it's about this $147,000 I owe.
I didn't know what it was about. I'm just saying, I didn't know what it was about.
Okay, then there's the post office problem, right?
Yes.
You're thinking maybe you're going to get pinched because of the theft of that bag from the post office.
I wasn't thinking that.
Well, then there's the lottery problem. Maybe you're thinking I'm going to get pinched because I took all this money from the Pennsylvania State Lottery.
Could have been.
And you also owe back child support, $3,000.
Could have been.
So it could have been any one of those things.
Yes.
But luckily for you, it's none of those things, right?
Oh, it was none of them things.
Out of the clear blue sky, they spend the next couple hours with you. I think they took you to a hotel.
Yes.
So 1 minute you're selling cars at a dealership, the next minute you're shacked up in a hotel room with 2 FBI agents.
Yes.
And they're telling you that they know that you have a problem with the mob, and maybe they can help you. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
And that's what happened.
Yes.
You're looking the jury in the eye and you're telling them that's what happened.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's get to the truth. Yesterday I told the jury that you contacted the FBI, you called them, you telephoned the FBI. Isn't that the truth?
I didn't telephone the FBI.
You didn't telephone the FBI. Can I ask Agent Martinelli to stand up again? Mr. Martinelli says he'd be happy to stand up. You just identified him as your main contact with the FBI,
Yes.
right? Now, did you spend a lot of time preparing for your testimony with Mr. Martinelli?
Yes.
What's a lot of time?
4 hours last night.
4 hours last night. How about before last night?
Maybe another 4 or 5.
In what period of time? That's 8 or 9 hours of preparation with Mr. Martinelli for your testimony. That's just what, in the last few days?
No, I seen him in August and last night.
And he helped prepare you to testify.
Well, more of John to do that.
Who's John? Oh, John Hahn.
Yeah.
The assistant U.S. Was he there the whole 8 or 9 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you don't remember telephoning the FBI in the late spring, March or April of 2003, to ask the FBI for assistance. You don't remember that.
I don't recall that.
Okay. May
I
I
don't.
show the witness, Agent Martinelli's sworn testimony to refresh his recollection?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Do you know of a reason that you can think of, Agent Martinelli?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay. You're saying you never placed that call, and you never told any FBI agent that you did call.
I don't recall. I don't recall placing that call.
I don't recall, and I didn't place the call, are two different things. So you're saying you may have called the FBI for help, like I said yesterday?
I'm saying I don't recall.
So you're
That's-
not denying it?
I don't recall making that phone call.
So you didn't place a call saying, you didn't call the FBI basic number, say you're in a lot of trouble, what can I do, and refuse to leave your name. You didn't do that in April or March of 2003.
I don't recall doing that.
Now, you've worked closely with Agent Martinelli, haven't you?
Yes.
You can't think of a single reason he would falsely claim that, can you?
Objection, Your Honor.
It's sustained.
Did the agents review with you anything else? For example, their grand jury testimony?
Their testimony?
Their testimony.
No. Not
Okay. Now, Mr. Scipione, you listened this morning when the United States Attorney played some recordings, including the one that you made talking about your plan to commit suicide. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to ask you about one sentence in one of those recordings, and it's in tab number 7. This is a recording of June 13, 2003. And in the center of that page, you said something which I'll quote. You told me to be truthful with you, and I lied once before. So who was it you lied to?
What, can you just...
Yes, tab 7.
7. Okay.
Tab 7. And I just read from line 8, you told me to be truthful with you, and I lied once before. I was truthful with you ever since, except for other lies that I've told you. You talking about lying to the FBI?
I'm reading that statement right now, and I don't recall what I meant by that. But I said it.
And then you went on to say, one of them is that she knew things. The she is your then wife, Janice, right?
Yes.
And what you told the FBI, one of the things you told the FBI Janice knew, was about the money that you stole from the Pennsylvania lottery, right? You implicated your wife in that when she knew nothing about it, right?
Right.
Right. This is the wife you love so dearly, right? Right?
Right.
Okay. So the wife who's going to leave you, or has left you, for being an informant is the same wife that you falsely implicated to the FBI on a Pennsylvania lottery theft that you committed, right? You lied about your own wife.
I didn't implicate her. I never implicated her. I never implicated her. Never.
What does that sentence mean? You told the FBI that she knew things, and she really didn't. It was about your theft from the lottery. It was you stealing the lottery money, and you told the FBI it was her.
No.
Right?
No. Never.
What does that sentence mean then? Now that you've had a
I
chance to
never
think
told
about
the FBI it was her. I never did.
What does that sentence mean then? Why don't you enlighten us?
I don't know what I was referring to by that she knew things, because it doesn't say anything about the lottery in here, but I never implicated her. Ever. Never.
So after eight
Never.
or 9 hours of preparation the last few days, including reviewing these tapes and transcripts, you're unable to tell this jury what it was that you lied about regarding Janice.
Right.
Just drawing a blank.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, let's stay on the topic of lies for a moment. Did you lie to Anthony Staino when you borrowed money from him?
Yes.
What kind of lies did you tell him? Did you tell him that you needed the money to live on? Did you tell him you needed the money to gamble? Did you tell him you needed the money to go loan out to other people so you can make some money? What lies did you tell him? All of them.
I just told him I needed the money. I never told him I needed the money to gamble, because I probably would have never got it. But I told him I needed the money to live on. I told him I needed the money to, whatever I needed it for.
You told him that you needed the money to live on, right?
Yeah.
Now, the day that you told him you needed the money to live on, you had known him for 10 or 15 years, hadn't you?
I had met him early, yeah.
You knew he was a
I met-
bartender
Yeah, I met him. Yes.
down the shore somewhere.
Yeah, Jersey, yeah.
Where?
Well, I know he's a bartender in Jersey, and I know he's a bartender down the shore in Jersey. There was a spot in Jersey. I can't think of the name of it. I can't recall the name, but there, if you know the name, I'll agree with it, because it was a spot in Jersey, and then he worked down the shore also,
So you worked as a
As far as I know.
bartender in two places.
as far as I know.
What year was that, you think? It was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could be in the 90s.
So in the 90s, you meet him. He's a working guy. He's working as a bartender, right?
Yes.
Right. And it gets to be, what year, 2001 or 2? And you need some money.
Yes.
And you go to him. He's a guy who you've known at that time for 5-10 years.
Yeah, I met him, say, 5-10 years before that.
He came to your wedding, didn't he?
Yes.
You got married in 2002, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
And before you got married to Janice, you, of course, had a nice engagement party, right?
Yes.
Your wedding was October 18, 2002, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was a small wedding with only 20 people, right?
Yes.
At a nice restaurant called Cucina Forte.
Yes.
Right? It's Italian for strong kitchen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You and Janice and maybe 18 or 20 guests, right?
Yes.
And Anthony was at your wedding.
He was invited to the wedding, yes.
Among 20 people, close friends and relatives, Anthony Staino makes the cut. He's among 20 close friends and relatives, right?
Yes.
He was also invited to your engagement party, wasn't he?
Yes.
Now, the engagement party was bigger. That was a more lavish affair. More people were invited.
Yes.
But he was out of town. He couldn't make that.
Yes. Yeah.
But he came to your wedding, and not only did he come to your wedding, he gave you a wedding card and he gave you a cash gift, didn't he?
Yes.
What did he give you, $500?
I don't recall the amount. I don't.
Well, he didn't give you $20, did he?
No.
I mean, he's not a piker.
Oh.
He gave you a nice cash gift.
Yeah, I think he gave me a couple hundred, I think, like
Couple
200.
hundred?
Yeah.
So, you knew Anthony. Your wife knows Olivia, wife of Joe. You're all South Philadelphia people. You know each other, don't you? Right?
More or less. Yeah.
And you had heard stories that Anthony was connected or Joe was connected. You hear that stuff all the time in South Philly, don't you?
Reading the papers, you see it on the news.
Half the people walking around Philadelphia want to feel they're connected to the mob, don't they?
Yeah, you could say that Italian-wise.
Half the Italian people walking around Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's a big Philadelphia urban myth. This guy, that guy, the other guy's connected with the mob, right?
I agree.
You hear it every day.
I agree.
Doesn't make it true, does it?
Not necessarily, no.
And Anthony fell in that category, and Joe fell in that category. They had a reputation of being connected, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, I want to get back to what you told Anthony when you asked for the loan. This was pretty soon after you opened up News Plus, right?
Yes.
That was a startup business.
Yes.
It was a convenience store. We see them all over the city. And you sold cigarettes and candy and fast foods, and you had a lottery machine, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Was that your first business?
Well, there was businesses with my ex-wife, clothing store, baby store, my first wife.
Yes. So you'd had businesses before.
Yeah.
So in a business, you need some capital. You need some startup money.
Yes.
Did you tell Anthony that was one of the reasons you had to borrow from him, to get startup money, to get this business off the ground?
That was a long time ago, sir, and I don't exactly remember what I asked them that I borrowed the money for. I borrowed the money, and I don't exactly ask them. I remember what I asked them I needed it for.
You don't remember what you told him you needed
Right.
for. Okay. So, let's see if we agree on this. One of the things you may have told him is you needed it because you're starting a business and you need some money to keep it going.
I mean, it could have been, yes.
It could have
I
been.
mean, sure.
Okay, it could have been. Now, under those circumstances, Anthony lent you some money.
Yes.
Not a stranger. He's a guy you've known for years, a guy you think enough of to invite to your engagement party and to your wedding, which only has 20 close friends and relatives, right?
Yes.
That's a good description of your relationship with Anthony Staino when you made these loans.
Yes. Yeah.
You went to him. He didn't come to you.
No, he didn't come to me.
All right. And you didn't go to him because you thought he was some kind of major mobster. You went to him because you needed some money and you knew the guy, and you thought he would lend it to you.
Right.
Okay. Now, so now he lends you some money. When you went to the FBI, when you went to the FBI, we heard what you just told the jury about what you told Anthony. When you went to the FBI, did you tell them what you just told this jury, or did you tell them something different?
When they, what do you mean, when they came to me and they took me at to the hotel room? Is that what you're insinuating, if you can read?
On May 16th, 2003, I want you to tell the jury what you told the FBI about your borrowing money from Anthony Staino. Do you remember?
I just remember to tell him I was in a large amount of debt.
But did you tell him the things that you just said to us under oath? Did you tell Agent Martinelli and Officer Mark Pinero, who I don't see in the courtroom right now? You know who Mark Pinero is, right?
Yes.
And it was Agent Martinelli and Mark Pinero who spoke to you on May 16, 2003. Am I right about that?
If you have that down, I don't remember dates to be exact. So
Okay.
that's
So my question is, did you say to them, Mr. Martinelli, Mr. Pinero, I borrowed all this money from Anthony Staino. I had a startup business. I needed to pay my expenses. I needed personal money, and that's why I borrowed from him. Did you tell them any of that?
no.
That's right, you didn't. You told them something completely different. You told them that you had been hoodwinking Anthony Staino by borrowing money from Anthony Staino and telling Anthony Staino that you were lending that money out on the street. Isn't that what you told him?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yes.
doing.
Yes. They can't both be true, can they? Can they?
No.
No.
I mean, I guess not.
All right. Now, once they heard that story, that you were lying to Anthony Staino, or that you were telling Anthony Staino that you were borrowing money from him, and you were in turn lending it out on the street, they were interested in that, right?
Yeah, they wanted to hear what I had to say.
Okay. Now, so there's what you told Anthony Staino on the one hand, and there's what you told the FBI on the other hand. Now let's get to the truth. The truth is, every nickel that you borrowed from Anthony Staino, you gambled away because you're a degenerate gambler, right?
Yes, I'm
Right.
a degenerate gambler.
And you
Yes.
spent at the casinos in Atlantic City, right?
Yes.
Having a great time, right? Gambling, wining, dining, and living it up on Anthony Staino's money, right?
Well, not every penny of it, but I'm a degenerate gambler. I am. I am.
Yeah. And these casinos in Atlantic City, back in 2002, 2003, when you were borrowing from Anthony, which ones were getting the benefit of Anthony's money?
Wasn't really any particular one.
So you went to all of them.
Not all of them, but
Were you
certainly.
rated?
I never gave my. I don't remember wanting to be rated.
Yeah, why? Tell us why. You didn't want your money traced, right?
Yeah, I don't believe in being rated.
Because if you're rated, they got your name, they got your address, they got your social security number, right? You might have to pay tax on your winnings, right?
Yeah,
Right?
true. Yeah. I agree.
So you wanted to stay under the radar.
Yeah, I don't want to be rated.
All right, so up to this point, the first 10 minutes, we now know that you told Anthony Staino one story about borrowing, you told the FBI another story about the borrowing, but the truth is, you were having a good time with Anthony's money in the Atlantic City casinos, right?
No, not necessarily the whole time. No, you know, the way you're saying it, not all the time. No, I wasn't down there every weekend. No, I was using the money for other things also.
Like what? Living expenses?
Whatchamacallit?
Take your time.
Borrowed in the beginning. It didn't build up till all the other people till I got myself in a big hole in a big jackpot, gambling, betting sports, and things like that. I was more of a sports bettor, and I also played my own lottery machine. I
$200 a day.
also played a couple $100 a day in the lottery machine.
That's what I just said. You played a couple $100 a day in your own lottery machine,
Right.
right? And as you pointed out, some of the money you just spent on other things, clothing, gasoline, stuff like that.
Yeah, but I wasn't living it up in the casinos like a big shot. No.
Okay, so now we have the three stories. Let's move on to the amounts. I want you to tell me exactly how much money you say you borrowed from Anthony Staino. I want to know the exact amount you borrowed.
I couldn't tell you the exact amount. It was over years. I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact amount. I think I'm almost positive when I first made my first loan was $1,000. But I can't tell you the exact amount over years. Can't put a number on it.
I will settle for an approximate amount then. You tell me approximately how much money Anthony Staino lent you based on your story to him that you needed it for startup costs and living money and so on. How much money did he lend you? This guy that you knew well enough to invite to your wedding.
You mean all total?
Yeah. How much you borrow from him?
Could be in the $60,000, $80,000 range.
$60,000 to $80,000, right? Right?
Yes.
Right. That's how much money he handed to you in a series of loans. $60,000 to $80,000, right?
Yeah.
How much was paid back?
Mostly all of it, I think.
Mostly all of it. Judge, the government has an exhibit they've not yet introduced yet, and if they don't mind, I would like to use it.
No objection.
Do you know which one it is?
I see it.
You see it? Okay. You see it. Judge, this is Government Exhibit 9A1. And if there's no objection, we can get it right up on the screen so we can all see it.
Okay.
That's not it. 9A1. Who's doing this? Our person? Your person. Our person? Is that a poor person?
Your person.
Do we have an IT? Are you supposed to be doing this?
Yes.
What's your name? Jason. Jason. Will you get this up? Jason? Hi. We're working on it.
Here we go. Here we go.
There we were. Okay. Can we keep it on longer?
Yeah, we're trying to help you.
Okay.
can't make that bigger so the jurors can maybe see it? Is there a way to double that size? If we can eliminate the exhibit here, this, whatever this is, on that. You know, I'll center that and make it more. Judge, may I ask the technical person a question?
Sure.
How hard or easy is it to just print enough copies for the jurors? Well,
You need to see the numbers, right? You said you wanted to make some quick copies? Okay, why don't we do that? Let's just take 5 minutes, let's stretch our legs, and we'll make some copies, try to straighten out all this problem. Thank you. Let's, excuse me a minute. Hold it. Let's take 5 minutes. Once you go back to the jury room, let's try to straighten all this out. At this point. Thank you. Leave all your notes and notebooks here. Now, please be seated. Two issues here.
Judge, may I see you at sidebar with counsel? I have a suggestion.
Well, okay, before you have a suggestion, I have another suggestion. We can't have this. Okay? What's the problem? We're paying an awful lot of money, as you know, for this to work. And it has to work right. Okay? Now, things happen. Maybe this is a quirk. But you work it out because it has to work.
Your Honor, if I could just interject for 2 seconds.
Yes.
I think the issue was, and I don't know.
That's why
I didn't think we could do this at sidebar. It would be
Okay.
more appropriate.
We'll take 5 minutes.
That's why they want to do it. Not a judge just ordered them to do it for us too. I understand what they're supposed to do.
Ed, do we have hard copies? Is that it? Okay, Mr. Vance, if it's necessary, Mr. Vance would hand out the exhibits to the jury. Yes.
Ed, he can use the color from the computer. Why are you using the black and white?
Give me a copy. Yeah, and give the witness a copy. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to use the hard copy?
And Elmo's currently working, Judge, so we're going to use Elmo, and I think he's going to use the hard copy.
I'd like the jurors to have the hard copy.
Okay. Bring him in. And you worked out that...
Yeah, we're gonna work that out, Judge. We're gonna have all the exhibits in advance, yes.
Okay. Well, we should have him here, so... We finish with the album, Katie. Let's shut it off, though, because his light is right in our face. Okay, please be seated. Yeah, I think we have worked this out. Sometimes these things happen. So, Mr. Jacobs, you have 981, a hard copy of it?
We do, Mr. Vance.
Okay, Mr. Vance, would you please distribute a hard copy to the jurors? Yeah. The witness has a copy and the court has a copy, so we can proceed, please.
All right, thank you, Judge. Mr. Scipione, have you seen this government exhibit before?
This one here? No.
Okay. Mr. Scipione, if you look at this government exhibit, you see it has a heading which says Payments to Anthony Staino on Henry Scipione debt, May 17, 2003 through September 14, 2007. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a period of some 4.5 years?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you see the payments are numbered 1 through 63.
Yes.
Right? Now, if you look at the first payment, Mr. Scipione, you'll see a date of May 17, 2003, right?
Yes.
That's the day after the date I referred to before the break. I referred to your speaking with Agent Mortinelli and Officer Pinero on that date, May 16th. Well,
You were saying prior? Yeah, I think.
and the context of that question was you told them that you had been getting money from Anthony Staino under the pretense of making loans to individuals, and they expressed an interest in that, right?
Yes, that was.
Okay. Now, the next day is May 17, and that is, in fact, the first entry there, right?
Yes.
And if we go all the way to entry 63, we find the date September 14, 2007. That is the last entry, right?
Yes.
And every single one of those entries has, in the third column from the left, an amount of money paid, doesn't it?
Yes.
Every one of those 63 amounts was FBI money, not your money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, to sum that up, you borrowed $60,000 to $80,000 from Mr. Staino, and the FBI paid back $50,250. Is that right?
Yes.
If you add interest onto $60,000 to $80,000, which is outstanding for 4.5 years, common sense tells you that the amount owing would be more than $60,000 or $80,000, right?
If you had interest at that figure.
If you had interest at any figure, interest increases the debt, doesn't it?
Sure.
Sure. Even if the interest rate were 4%, the $60,000 or $80,000 would grow, wouldn't it?
Sure.
And if the interest were 30%, it would really grow, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, according to this chart, in collaboration with the FBI, you got the FBI to pay federal money in the amount of $50,250 to Mr. Staino on account of the $60,000 to $80,000 that you borrowed from Mr. Staino and gambled at the casinos in Atlantic City and at the lottery machine and wherever, right?
I didn't use every penny, single penny to gamble, but yes, some of that money I gambled. I'm a gambling degenerate. I'll tell you that, and I'll just keep telling you. I am.
Okay. Now, so now we know that you borrowed somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 from Mr. Staino, and we reviewed before the break the different stories that you had to justify that borrowing. Do you owe him any money today?
Do I owe him any money today?
No?
No.
No. So you don't owe him any money today. So if you don't owe him any money today, and he only got paid $50,250 on a $60,000 to $80,000 debt, what happened to the other $9,750 to $29,750 that he lent you? You know?
No.
No. Now, how many years were you a bookmaker?
20.
What 20? Your conviction, according to the U.S. Attorney, was in 1989. Did you keep making book after that?
Yeah.
So your conviction didn't stop you?
No.
All right. What years do you think you were a bookmaker?
From, I don't know, 84 to 2004, 2005, something like that. 2004, maybe I gave it up, somewhere around there, about 20 years.
20, 21 years.
Something like that.
Okay. So you were a bookmaker while you were a federal postal employee.
Yes.
Right. That was your part-time job?
Bookmaking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
How much action were you doing a week?
Varied. When it first started, $25 a game.
In a week?
It all depends what year, what week, what season.
Give me a range, from a low of what to a high of what?
I never kept like weekly totals or figures, or you know what I mean. Like I kept weekly figures, but I'm not saying about the business I wrote. Oh, I wrote this amount of business and write it down. So you know what I mean. How
many customers you have? How many bettors?
I had quite a few in the 80s.
What's quite a few?
30.
30 people betting into you on a regular basis in the 80s. Right? But you can't tell us how much that would be in a week.
It's hard to,
Take $5,000, $10,000 worth of bets in a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a postal worker, you got 30 bettors betting $5,000, $10,000 a week, right? That was you.
That was me.
Okay. Now, and you apparently didn't have any qualms about going to Anthony Staino, who has this reputation of being connected, and borrowing money from him, did you?
No, I don't.
And you didn't have any qualms about telling him that the money was to live on for business and for other things, when in reality, you were gambling it.
I was gambling some of the money, yes. You're making it
But
like
you
I was
didn't-
gambling at
You
all.
didn't have any
You
qualms
have to
about...
keep your voice up.
Oh,
Yeah, would you
sorry.
keep your voice up? I meant that.
Sorry.
Okay.
Apologies.
You didn't have any qualms about deceiving him about what you were doing with the money, right?
Right. I didn't, no,
Because
not at
if
all.
you told him the truth, that you were gambling some of it, he probably wouldn't have lent it to you.
Absolutely not.
Right. So you had to tell him a lie. You had to tell him it was for business and living expenses and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah. But you're saying sure, like it's natural to lie.
No, but I'm saying,
It just makes sense. You
I'm
have
answering,
to lie to him. Right?
or he wouldn't lend you the money.
Exactly. So you had to lie to him.
That's what I
Right.
said. Yes.
This big mob guy, you lied to him. Right?
Yeah, I lied.
Because you take all this stuff about being connected with the mob with a grain of salt, don't you?
Do I take it with a grain of salt? Absolutely not. What do you
You
mean?
think everybody's connected with the mob?
No.
Okay. Now, you told the jury this morning that these street loans or loan shark loans carry interest rates of 20 or 25 or 30%. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you told the jury that they're usually 10 or 13-week loans, right?
Yes.
And the way you explained it, the hypothetical you and the U.S. Attorney used was if I were to borrow $1,000 on a street loan, I might pay back $130 for each of 10 weeks, right?
Yes.
Or I might pay back $100 for each of 13 weeks.
Yes.
That is how a street loan works.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to look at entries 53 through 63 on this exhibit, Government Exhibit 9A1. And I will represent to you that they are reproduced right within this indictment in 22 counts of this indictment. Are you looking at them?
The payment-wise?
Yes.
53 to 60.
53 through 63.
Yes.
Okay, just focus in on them. I've represented to you they are reproduced precisely this way within this indictment. Look at the first one, 53. Is that a $300 payment by you to Mr. Staino on January 19, 2006?
Yes.
Is the next payment, number 54, February 23, 2006?
Yes.
Is that about 5 weeks later?
Yes.
Not 1 week.
No.
The next one, number 55, is precisely 1 month later, February 23, 2006, right?
Yes.
The one after that is about 5 weeks later, number 56, April 27, 2006.
Yes.
Then we get to number 57, which appears to be about a month and a half later, 6 weeks later, June 14, 2006.
Yes.
Number 58 is 2 months later, isn't it?
Yes.
August 16, 2006. Right?
Yes.
Number 59 is over 2 months later, October 19, 2006, right?
Yes.
And the next one is 3 months later. Number 60 is January 11, 2007, right?
Yes.
And the one after that is more than 2 months later, March 13, 2007, right?
Yes.
And the next one is 2.5 months after that, June 5, 2007.
Yes.
And the last one, number 63, is 3.5 months later, September 14, 2007. Is that right?
Yes.
That doesn't fit the pattern you described for a street loan, does it?
No.
And all those payments, again, they were not your money, federal money.
Yes.
Now, were there any payments after September 14, 2007?
I don't believe so. I guess not. No.
And is that because, as you said earlier, you don't owe any more money?
Yeah, I believe so.
You believe so that you don't owe any more money.
Yes.
So these payments totaling $50,250 in your mind satisfy the entirety of the $60,000 to $80,000 that you borrowed from Mr. Stano. Right?
Yes, I mean,
Yes?
yes, I would say yes.
Okay. Now, here's the next question I have for you. The next topic, I should say. Am I correct that if we look at this chart and we find all the payments that you made, not those made by undercover person Vinny or undercover person Dino, we find all the payments that you made, you were equipped with a recording device on each one?
Yes.
And what type of recording device was it?
Objection.
Sustained.
Can I be heard on that, Judge? There's a reason for it.
Well, in general terms, we're not going to discuss the specific technology involved there.
No, I'm not a technology person.
Okay.
I've proven that. Let me just ask the question this way. Did you have control over the recording device?
When it was given to me, yes.
Were you able to activate it and deactivate it? Turn it on and off?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Now, if we were to review this chart and subtract out all the payments made by Vinny, undercover person Vinny, and undercover person Dino, will you take my word that 56 of these payments were made by you?
Yeah, I take your word.
Okay. 56 payments over 4.5 years, all tape recorded, you equipped with a recording device you could control. You with me so far?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Now, tell a jury if you understand these words. Juice.
Yes.
What is it?
It's the interest on a loan.
Vig.
Interest on a loan.
Vigorish.
Could be interest on a loan.
Interest.
Interest on a loan.
Or vig or juice. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. These FBI agents prepared you every single time that they handed you federal money to go pay your debt to Mrs. Stano. They prepared you for the meeting, didn't they?
In which, yeah.
They met with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They met with you?
Yes.
They handed you the money?
Yes.
They gave you the recording device?
Yes.
They gave you instructions on what to do, go meet them, you know?
Yes.
Okay. Right? Now, and you've listened to these recordings, right?
Yes.
All of them.
I don't know if I listened to every one of them. I don't.
Of those you've listened to,
Yes.
I want you to tell me, on any of them, will we hear you or Mr. Stano use the words vig, vigorish, juice, or interest? Yes or no?
I would say no.
No. You were working closely with these FBI agents. Did they appear to understand those terms?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they understood them.
Can you explain why in 56 recorded encounters with Mr. Stano, we don't hear one single reference in 4.5 years to the payment of juice or vig or vigorish or interest? Can you explain that?
No.
Now, here's my next topic. If I told you that there were no less than 17 occasions when you reported back to the agents, for some reason or another, the recording failed, would you agree with me or disagree with me?
I wouldn't know that. If you say so,
You'll take
I'll
my
agree
word.
with you. Well, you seem like an honest man.
Which one of us?
I said you seem.
Oh,
This is a compound question. One is, were there any times in which it failed? And then number two, how many of those times, if so?
Well, I think you're accepting my representation that there are at least 17 days when you reported back the recording failed for one reason or another.
Objection, Your Honor. He said he doesn't know if it failed.
He's also saying he's taking my
Yeah,
word.
objection sustained. Break down the question.
Were you cautioned by the FBI to be more careful about the recordings you were making? Were you? Specifically, on July 28, 2003, did Martinelli remind you you had to record all your contacts? Do you know?
I had a record. Can you repeat that again?
Sure. On July 28, 2003, did Agent Martinelli remind you you had to record all your contacts?
All my contacts.
All your contacts with Mr. Stano?
I was recording all the contacts. Right?
Let me make my question more clear. On July 28, 2003, did Agent Martinelli say to you, Mr. Scipione, you're supposed to be recording all of your contacts with Mr. Stano?
Yes. Yeah.
On September 26, 2003, did you report you were unable to record a telephone call when Mr. Stano called you back?
I could have. It's a long time ago, but
I understand. But you reviewed all this stuff, didn't you, before testifying for 8 or 9 hours?
not every single document.
On October 25, 2003, did you report to the agents that you had a call from Mr. Stano, but you didn't record it?
Yes.
On April 24, 2004, did you tell them you had a phone call from Mr. Stano and did not record it?
I could have, yes.
On July 26, 2004, did you tell the agents you had 2 telephone calls from Mr. Stano and you didn't recall either one? Didn't record either one?
I could have, yes. These dates are. I mean, it's a long time ago. You know,
Yes.
you're also pulling out specific dates and specific times. So that's just letting you know. That's hard. Yeah, I remember. Remember what I ate for breakfast 2 days ago. So.
On August 16 and 17, both days, did you report to the agents that you received a call from Mr. Stano and failed to record it?
It's possible.
Did that happen again on August 23, again on August 31, and on January 24, 2005, did he tell them the recorder failed?
It's possible that I did that.
Let me just pick one more. On March 13, on March 13, 2007, did you report to the agents that both the telephone recording device and your body recorder malfunctioned?
It's possible.
You didn't do anything to not record conversations with Mr. Stano that you didn't want to hear played back, did you? Did you?
No, I didn't do anything.
You didn't do that, did you?
No.
How do you account for 17 times after being warned by the agents that you didn't record conversations with Mr. Stano? How do you account for that?
I don't.
Can you account for it?
No, I don't. No.
This exhibit that we still have up here, I'm going to ask you to back up a little bit to the right-hand column. This exhibit, I should say, is Government Exhibit 9A1. On the right-hand column, let's look at some of the payments. For example, 33, 34, 35, 36. You see the amounts. 33 is 400, 34 is 450, 35 is 500, 36 is 300. You see the varying amounts?
Yes.
That also doesn't fit the pattern of a street loan that you described, does it?
Different amounts. It all depends what you owe. You know, it all depends what you're paying. No.
I thought the way you explained it, it was a fixed amount.
Yeah.
These aren't fixed amounts, are they?
No, they're different amounts.
You were paying Mr. Staino what you wanted, when you wanted, right? Right?
Yes.
Now, needless to say, throughout this entire 4.5-year period, nobody laid a hand on you, did they?
No.
I mean, there was some angry talk at times, wasn't there?
Yes.
And it sounded in the tapes as if you understood that because Mr. Staino had lent you a considerable amount of money, and it didn't come back in 10 weeks or 13 weeks. It took 4.5 years.
Yes.
And based on what you've told the jury so far, he's still in the hole for somewhere between $9,750 and $29,750 of it, right? Depending on whether you borrowed 60, 70, or 80,000.
That's what the numbers say.
But he never did anything to you. did
No.
he? He's a guy you've known from when he was a bartender, right?
Yes.
Joe Legambi never got $1 of that money, did he?
Objection, speculation.
You ever give him $1?
No.
You ever see anybody give him $1?
No.
You ever hear it?
Yes, ma'am.
Speculation.
Well, does he know? Rephrase the question.
Right. Do you know? Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Do you know if Joe Legambi ever got $1 of that money?
No.
You ever see him get $1 of that money?
No.
You ever see anybody give him $1 of that money?
No.
Without us having to look at these transcripts, which we read this morning and we heard, just let me ask you these questions. It sounds like, we listened to those transcripts, it sounds like you and Mr. Staino are reviewing lists. And I'm looking now at Government Exhibit 3C1, 3C2, and 3C3, which you looked at a couple hours ago.
Yes.
Remember them? Okay. And are these the lists that you and Mr. Staino were reviewing?
Yes.
And this all happens because all those names we heard on these tapes, Izzy and Carl
Yes.
and Tony, and they're all imaginary people that
Fictitious
you concocted,
names. Yes.
right? These aren't real human beings who borrowed any money from you or Vinny, are they? It's all made up.
Yes.
Right. So you're basically hoodwinking Mr. Staino, telling him that all these people owe this money, and this one owes this, and this one owes that, and they're paying this, that, and the other thing, and this is how you're going to get paid back for the money you lent me, Tony. That's what's happening here, right?
Yes.
It's all made up.
Yes.
And he fell for it, right?
Yes.
He wanted to get back the $60,000 to $80,000 that he lent you based on the stories that you told him. So he's going along with this, right?
Yes.
And the FBI was scheming this right along with you, right?
I don't know what you mean by the word scheming this. So
You were collaborating with them,
I was cooperating with them.
okay? We'll accept your word. You and the FBI, in cooperation, were making up these stories about non-existent people owing money that they really don't owe. And you're selling this story to Mr. Staino as a way that he can get back what he lent you when you said you were in need.
I made up all the names. I had all the names. It was
you
me.
concocted the names yourself.
It was me who was borrowing the money originally, and I was just making name after name after name to get money.
And the FBI went along with that. Right?
Well, they seen what I did. I mean,
You told them that you were making up fictitious debtors and fictitious amounts, right?
yeah, I told them the story.
And you were offering that to Mr. Stano as a way he could finally get his money back, right? Right?
Yeah.
He didn't make you do any of that, right?
No.
He didn't say, hey, you know that $60,000 to $80,000 I lent you for living expenses and to get your business started and for this and that? You go loan that out. You go loan that. He didn't tell you that, did he?
No.
No way, right? Again, without picking through the transcripts and the tapes, remember the parts where you're telling him you're sick and he says, well, go to the doctor, you know?
Yeah.
The body's going to shut down on you, get a good doc. He's talking to you like a friend, right?
Yes.
Because he was a friend, right? Right?
Yes.
And this is why you feel so bad that you shouldn't go around stabbing your friends in the back.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, you succeeded. You got $60,000 to $80,000 from them. You conned the FBI into paying it back. Right? Right?
Well, you're saying conned. I don't believe I conned anybody.
Well, you pick
I was
a
in
word.
a
Defrauded, hoaxed, tricked,
Oh.
took advantage of the FBI.
Objection.
You got the
Excuse
FBI.
me, one at a time. What's the
Argument.
question?
I'll withdraw the question.
Okay.
You were clever enough to escape the debt that you owed Mr. Stano and have the FBI pay it, right? Right?
The FBI paid a lot of the debt.
Yes. Okay. How did you keep all this in your mind? You, according to Exhibit 3C1, made up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 fictitious debtors, 24 fictitious amounts, and you even had them on their schedules. Some owed 100, some owed 200, some were down to a week. So you did all that? You did
Yes.
all that? Pretty clever, isn't it? It's pretty clever, isn't it?
That's the term you want to use. Clever. I mean,
What term would you use? Sneaky?
no.
All right. The next topic I would like to discuss with you is, Judge, just give me a minute. Okay, Joe, did you take any of my stuff here?
No.
About a comfort break.
Okay, don't jump down my throat.
No, I didn't think it did.
Next thing I want to discuss with you is your cooperation agreement. Do you actually have a written agreement with the United States Attorney and the FBI?
I don't know if I have a copy of it. There was something I signed.
For simplicity, can I just approach the witness and
Yes, you may.
show my copy? This is Government 10C, and this purports to be an agreement between the FBI, you see that, right? Says they're conducting a lawful investigation, whatever that means. Is the activities
Objection.
of the Cosa
Yes,
Nostra.
sustain. Don't comment on that, please.
Okay. A lawful investigation, the activities of Cosa Nostra, and you, Henry Scipio, right? Is that the agreement that you signed? And if we go to the back page, we'll see your signature, July 6, 2004, right? And there's somebody signing it on behalf of the FBI, right? Okay, do you have a copy of that here? No? Okay, let me just stay with you for a minute. You see this agreement says that they're going to reimburse you for all expenses incurred by you? Yes. Okay. And do you see, it says all or parts of these payments to you may constitute taxable income. Okay. And it also says that they're going to provide you with living expenses that they think are reasonable.
You'll need to pull the mic over, or we'll have to move this mic over.
Yes.
For the witness, can we pull this?
Sorry, thank you, Judge. So you agree it says those things?
Yes.
And I think the last thing I want to draw your attention is on page 2, paragraph 8, Scipione shall not participate in any unlawful activities.
Yes.
Okay. And this is dated July 6, 2004.
Yes.
Right? Is that what stopped you from bookmaking?
No, losing did.
Losing stopped you. Okay.
I couldn't tell you anything.
Okay, so you would have kept bookmaking past this date if you weren't losing.
I don't know if I would have done that. But losing stopped me from bookmaking.
Okay. Now, Mr. Scipione, so you have this written agreement with the FBI to cooperate with them and to testify also, don't you?
Yes.
Now, the U.S. Attorney, when he questioned you, made mention of getting reimbursed for certain expenses. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I'm going to try to use this elbow again.
Okay.
Eddie, the agreement's already up on screen.
No, it's not the agreement.
Tell me what number.
It's the payments, and it doesn't have a number. Is there an objection? The payments?
Will you mark that as an exhibit?
Yes, I'd like to. Let's make this, Judge, what's your practice? Would this be defense one?
That'll be fine.
Okay. May I mark it myself?
Yes.
Okay. This is defense first exhibit here. And on bond it's 51. Now here, I'm going to try to make this a little bigger.
It's a more current version of that. That was given out this morning.
Okay? Here's more, this must be more time. This is B1. And this, you're going to take a read of this.
Can you all see D1? Okay.
Now, the U.S. Attorney asked you about part of this. He asked you about expenses.
Yes.
And you made mention of things like gasoline, cell phone, right?
Yeah.
All right. And did that all add up to $30,628.46?
I don't know what it added up to be to. I don't know what it added up to be, but if this is the sheet, then this is.
That's the government's sheet.
Yeah, I don't have a sheet.
Okay. And look at the services part of it. Did that add up to $18,700?
I have a different figure on mine on the bottom.
Under services? These two are the same. Well, how can we have a different number? I'm sorry. Here, I don't know why you have something different here, but this is what we're looking at.
That's what I have. You said 18. It's
Oh,
21.
okay.
You sit on there.
Okay. So the figure actually, thank you, is $21,700
That's what it
for
says.
services. Now, if you add those two together, what you were paid is $53,765.46, right?
Yes.
Remember your participation agreement, paragraph 3, says you may have to report some of that on your federal income tax. Did you?
No.
No. Just kept it?
Yes.
Tell the FBI that? They tell you there's anything wrong with that?
I never told them, though.
You didn't. All right, so Mr. Scipione, you've agreed with me that this borrowing went on for 4.5 years, right?
Yes.
Nobody ever touched a hair on your head, right?
Right.
You got $60,000 to $80,000 from your friend, Mr. Stano, telling him you needed it to live on your business and nice
Yes.
stuff like that, right? Right?
Yes.
You got the FBI to pay him back $50,000 or thereabouts, right?
Yes.
And you got from the FBI $53,765.46. That about sums it up, doesn't it?
Of what you just said, yes.
So you didn't have to pay him, they paid him, and they paid you. End of story, right?
That's what
Those are
happened.
the facts of this case, right?
That's what happened.
Those are the facts of this case, right?
That's what.
What you and
these
I
are-
just reviewed are the
Objection.
facts of this case. That's all I have of the witness, Judge. That's all I have of the witness.
Okay, cross-examination finished from Mr. Jacobs.
Yeah, Your Honor?
Yes, please, Mr. Pagano. Yeah, sure.
Your Honor, may Government Exhibit 9A1 be put back up on the monitors?
Okay. Well, we all have the hard copy. Is that what you're
Yes,
asking for?
please.
Okay.
Mr. Scipione, good
Yes.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name's Greg Pagano, and I represent Anthony Stano. I have some questions for you, okay?
Yes.
You're looking at the payment schedule for you, marked Government Exhibit 9A1, correct?
Yes.
And it's a payment schedule of 63 payments, correct?
Yes.
Most of which you made to Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And all of which were, at least the ones you participated in, were in fact recorded by yourself, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree with me, sir, that on none of those dates that were recorded did Anthony Stano threaten you?
Yes.
You would agree with me in that regard,
Yes.
correct? In fact, not only did he not threaten you on any of these recordings, you would also agree with me that, in particular, the recording from June 27th of 2003, you remember that recording? That was the recording that was played for you this morning by
I noticed
John
that.
or Mr. Hahn.
Just all I'm asking to do is
I'll refresh your recollection.
Yes, please.
Sure. The payment that, or the recording that John, as you called him, played for you this morning, where Anthony talks about Vinny, correct?
yes.
And he talks about how he's got two gorillas and chopping them up.
Yes.
He's giving you information to pass along to Vinny, correct?
I mean, I don't know if he's giving me the information. I just took it. He was just really agitated.
Right.
He was agitated.
He wasn't threatening you, though, is my point, correct? And would you agree with me that day that he's very agitated, he never threatens to put a bullet in your head, correct?
No, not that day.
On none of the recordings that are listed in the schedule that's on the monitor in front of you in DA1, does Anthony ever threaten to put a bullet in your head, correct?
No.
Even when you're many, many weeks behind, correct?
Correct.
There was a recording played here. I can't remember if it was in the morning session or the afternoon session, but Mr. Hahn played a recording for you where you are told by Anthony that you're like 6 or 8 weeks behind, correct?
Yes.
And during none of those conversations does he threaten you with any physical harm whatsoever, correct?
Correct.
And for all of these payments that you made to him that are on the exhibit in front of you right now, you called him for all of those payments, correct?
Correct.
He wasn't calling you to enforce those payments or to coerce you or to threaten you or to make you make those payments, correct?
Correct.
You were calling him,
I was
right?
calling him.
And you would call him and you would say, yo, buddy, right? That was like how you
Yes.
addressed him, right?
Yes.
And you would say, yo, buddy, come on by, right?
Yes.
And that was for each of these, I think Ed said it was 56 payments, correct?
Yes.
That you would call him and say, yo, buddy, I'm home, come on by, right?
Yes.
And your home at the time was on Dickinson Street,
Yes.
between 8th and 9th,
Yes.
in South Philadelphia.
Yes.
And it wasn't your home, but it was a home
Right.
that you were living in, right?
Yes.
You were living there with Janice's mother, who was your mother-in-law after you got married,
Yes.
and Janice's handicapped daughter, correct?
Yes.
And you would also agree with me that all of the payments reflected on the exhibit that's on the monitor in front of you are all far less than what you were supposed to have been paying, correct?
Yes.
Without any exception, they're all substantially less than what you say you should have been paying, correct?
Yes.
You said that you should have been paying, when I think John was questioning you, you said that you should have been paying like $5,000 a week, correct?
I always shorted him. He was always short.
You always shorted him, and he never threatened you, correct?
Right.
And you substantially shorted him. Like, for instance, the very first payment on May 17th, 2003 says $2,000, right?
Right.
In fact, when that recording was played this morning, didn't it reflect that you paid him even less than $2,000?
I don't recall.
Is Government Exhibit 1.1A still available for the witness to view? Do you see that Exhibit 1.1A, sir?
Yes.
You see where it says on the first page, line 7, AS stands for Anthony Staino, of course. What do you got here?
Yes.
You say 12. Remember, I was supposed to give you $1,750.
Yes.
Anthony says, yeah, all right, all right. So you didn't pay him $2,000 like the payment schedule says you did. You only paid him $1,200, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the other $800? Did you keep it?
No, I never.
Was there ever a situation where you gave him less than what the FBI gave you?
No.
Except for this one.
Yeah, it even looks like they gave me more than what I had to give him, so I don't know where the confusion is.
Okay, but you wouldn't have put that in your pocket.
No.
Sir, the first time that you introduce the person, Vinny, is on June 6th of 2003. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, if that's what you have. I don't
And
know
if
dates.
transcript number or the exhibit number 1.2A of the transcript of June 6th, 2003 could be displayed to the witness. Do you see that in front of you? Is it up on your screen?
Yes.
And does it say on line 10 that you got to see one guy, he handles a couple for me?
Yes.
That was Vinny, you told us earlier that you were referring to, correct?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the FBI that gave you this script or this story to give to Anthony, correct?
Yes.
You didn't come up with that yourself, right?
No.
So they're telling you what to tell him.
Yes.
Is that fair? And on this date, Anthony tells you he doesn't threaten you because you're short or because you don't have what you're supposed to have. He just tells you you can't borrow any more money, right?
Yes.
Which is a reasonable thing to say, correct?
Yes.
Because you weren't paying him.
Right.
Right? And when he says no more re-ups, he also says that unless these guys want to deal with me personally, right?
Yes.
He's doing you a favor by leaving you out of the loop, correct?
Yes.
And you even thank him for it in here, correct?
Yes.
You say it would be better for you, right?
Yes.
And also, let's go back to the very beginning. The May 17th transcript that was up in front of you before this one, that's reflected on the payment schedule as the very first payment, that's the first recording that you made of Anthony Staino, correct?
Yes.
So you met with them at the hotel after the dealership on the evening of May 16th, and then you make a recording the very next day, correct?
Yeah, it didn't seem that way, but yes, I guess so. It didn't seem.
And if I told you that May 17th was a Saturday, would you agree with that?
You told me it was a Saturday, and it's a Saturday.
Okay. And you were actually opening up the store that day. You couldn't find your key, correct? Or you couldn't, your key wouldn't work in the lock was actually what happened, correct?
Yeah,
Does that refresh your recollection of-
there was a day. Yeah, there was a day that I couldn't. Yes.
You couldn't get into the store.
Yes.
And you were confused as to why your key wouldn't work because it was
Yes.
your key and it was the key to that lock, right?
Yes.
And that was the first recording that you made with this man here, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that as of that date, until the very last date, when you made the very last recording, you did not borrow any additional money from Anthony Staino during that time period while you were working for the FBI. Fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to June 11th. The government didn't play that recording, but I'm going to ask right now if HS 138.
Is there a transcript, Your Honor, of this?
There's no transcript.
It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2003. It's 9:32. Start this recording device in anticipation of the CW having.
Can that be paused for just a minute?
Objection, Your Honor. I don't believe this is a recording of Mississippi Elm.
This is the preamble, Judge.
Can I
Just for purposes of identifying what it is and what the date is, that's all.
We would actually offer proof of why this evidence should come in at this point in the cross-examination.
So, is Mississippi owned heard
He
on
is.
the tape?
It's a recording he makes.
Well, it's hearsay unless it's a prior inconsistent statement.
Okay, let me see your sidebar here. Okay, let's continue, please.
May 138, Part 2 be played, beginning at 26:50.
Okay, who's handling that?
Can the recording be paused for just a moment?
The stop?
Mr. Scipione, did you hear some voices there on the recording?
Yeah.
Okay, and did those voices sound familiar? Did you hear your mother-in-law's voice?
Yeah.
And did you hear Mr. Stano's voice?
Yes.
Okay. Continue. Thank you. Can the recording be paused again? That's you laughing there, correct?
Yes.
He's at your mother-in-law's home, correct?
Yes.
And he's offering Anthony, that is, to drive her to CVS, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll give her Tina.
It could be paused again. You said, Ma, I'll be with Rakina, correct?
Yes.
Rakina is Janice's daughter, correct?
Yes.
Who has cerebral palsy or some
Down syndrome.
Down syndrome. Okay, so she was out working, Janice, right? She wasn't home at the time.
Yeah, she wasn't home.
She worked,
Yeah.
right? But you weren't working, correct?
I'm trying to think at that time.
June 11, 2003.
I don't think I was, no.
Okay. And this is 2 days before you made that suicide recording, correct? You made that on June 13th.
Right, the third Friday the
13th,
13th.
June 2000.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Can you pause it? Did you just hear yourself talk about Vinny?
Yes.
And you told Anthony Monday he's coming with everything, right?
Yes.
And Monday, after June 11th, was June 16th. If I tell you that, would you agree with that? Or if you'd like to see the calendar, I'll show it to you.
I believe it.
2003. So you tell Anthony on June 11th, there's this guy, Vinny, who's coming Monday with everything, correct?
Yes.
June 16th. Did you pause that? You said Monday morning, 9 o'clock, I open up the store, he'll be there, right? Or something to that effect.
Yes.
He says he knows you. He said he knows you.
Pause that again? He says he knows you.
Yes.
You're telling Anthony that Vinny knows him, correct?
Yes.
Who gave you that script? The FBI?
Yes.
So what you're telling Anthony isn't the truth, correct?
Yes.
It's a script,
Yes.
correct? the two of you are walking, right? Along a street, you and Anthony?
Yes.
And as you're walking, you come upon your mother-in-law who had left the house before you two did, correct?
Yes.
And that's why you hear her voice again.
Yes. At this point in the recording, you were telling Anthony about the type of person Vinny is, right? Yes.
And you're telling Anthony that he's slow, correct?
Yes.
And what you mean by that is he doesn't pay you when he's supposed to pay you, right?
Yes.
And again, the FBI is giving you this script to give to Anthony, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't make this up. I mean, they told you what to say to him, right?
Yeah. I didn't make...
They would meet with you and do what's called a debriefing before you went and met with Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And they would tell you what the agenda was for the conversation of the day with Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And on this day, or before this day, they told you to tell Anthony that this guy, Vinny, is evasive, correct?
Yes.
You used that word that day, correct? That's you saying evasive, right?
Yes.
You also mentioned something there about when the mouse is away, the cat will play, correct? You're telling Anthony
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
And you're talking about how Vinny would not pay you because you weren't around to be paid, correct?
Right.
Pause it again. And in this part of the conversation, which I believe is toward the end of the conversation with Anthony, Anthony again is asking you about 9 o'clock on Monday, June 16th, correct?
Yes.
And at this point in the recording, you're telling Anthony about how many guys you have, how many guys Vinny has, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling Anthony, well, my guys always pay me, meaning you, and Vinny's guys don't pay him, meaning Vinny, correct?
Right.
You and Anthony are laughing at this point because he says that you don't have the money to put up for Vinny's guys or Vinny, right?
Right.
And Anthony understood that, right?
Yes.
And Anthony was very understanding with you many times, right?
Yes.
And after these recordings in June and early 2003, there were recordings throughout the years thereafter, where he was extremely understanding, correct?
Yes.
Where he, in fact, in December of 2003, tells you to forget about Vinny's debt to you. He actually wiped it clean, correct?
Yes.
He squashed it. Right?
Yes.
He said, Anthony, or he said, Henry, don't worry about this, the $7,000 or $10,000 that Vinny owed you. You're relieved of that, correct?
Yes.
And you said, wow, that's really more than fair, right?
Yes.
Continue. That's Anthony saying, you need a ride anywhere, right?
Yes.
I hope you feel better, right? Not I hope you feel worse. Or I
Right.
hope you have to go back in the hospital because you're not paying me, right?
Right.
You said, all right, buddy, I'll see you later, right? Before the next part of the recording is played, after this conversation with Anthony and meeting with Anthony, you had a meeting with the FBI, correct?
Yes.
And during that meeting with the FBI, you went back to them and told them about the success or failure or just the nature of that particular encounter, that meeting, right?
Yes. It was all on recording anyway. But
Right. And when you went back to them, you told them he bought the whole story. That were your words, right?
I really didn't. When I met them after, I really didn't speak with them. That I just handed them the thing and whatever I had to hand it to them. And once in a while, I'd have a conversation, but I handed it to them. I was out of there.
Do you remember having a conversation with them after this meeting saying he bought the whole story?
I mean, it could have been. I mean, I don't want to.
Do you remember also saying that he bought it? I told him this guy, Vinny, always evades me. Do you remember saying that to them?
I could have, yes.
Could you have also said to them 2 times, he was real calm, meaning Anthony was real calm. You'll hear it.
Yes.
Could you have said that?
Yeah, I think I remember saying something.
And
at
you had
some
this
points.
conversation with the FBI about.
Excuse me.
You had that conversation with the FBI about Anthony being calm and about Vinny evading you because you were told to go in there to tell Anthony that Vinny was evasive, correct?
Yes.
And you told them 2 or 3 times how calm he was and how cool he was because you were shocked, correct?
Yeah.
And you were surprised because you expected to get an angry reaction out of him, correct?
I expect them to be a little mad. Just me personally, I expect them to be a little upset.
And that's what the agents expected too, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's sustained.
Well, didn't you have conversations with them before you went in there?
Objection.
He had conversations with him.
You're saying.
Right. And weren't those wasn't the topic of those conversations with the FBI, wasn't the strategy to get this man mad?
Objection,
This-
Your Honor.
Overruled.
Wasn't the strategy to get this man mad?
The strategy was to introduce Vinny.
Okay, so
Into
why did you repeatedly say that you were surprised that he was so calm?
I said that because I was surprised.
Can we go to 3540? Pause it. That was you saying he bought the whole story, right?
Is that what I? Yeah.
Could you hear it? I mean, you tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could hear that, right?
Yeah. I heard. Yeah.
Could it be rewound to 3540 again?
To do what? What are we rewinding for?
So he can hear it. Your
He
Honor.
just say he heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you agree, you heard that?
Yes.
He bought the whole story. You also heard him say he was calm, he was cool, he bought it. Did you hear yourself say that as well?
Yes.
Continue. This is you telling the agents he's dodging, he's elusive, and again, you're talking about Vinny, right?
Yes.
And all this was captured on the recording because you or the agents forgot to turn it off, correct?
I don't turn them off.
Okay, well,
they turned them off.
You told us earlier that typically you would just pass off the recording device to them, right?
Yes.
This time, you perhaps passed it off to them, but it wasn't turned off the way they typically turn it off, correct?
They turn them off. I wasn't, instructed to turn them off.
Okay, but in your 100 or so meetings with the FBI,
They turn it off.
They typically turn it off before they debrief you, correct?
Yes.
You're talking about your mother-in-law. She left before we walked out, right? Mm-hmm. So you're giving them a play-by-play synopsis of what happened, correct?
Yes.
Did you hear yourself say, oh, yeah, he's expecting to see him Monday?
Yes. Yes.
And you're, again, talking about Vinny, right?
Yes.
And Monday being June 16th, 2003.
Yes.
I think that's it. Okay, so then we all know what happens on the 13th. You attempted to take an overdose of
Yes.
pills. You tried again the next day or a couple days after,
Yes.
and then a day or two after that is the 16th, and you go into the hospital,
Yes.
right? So on June 16th, when Vinny was supposed to be there with all of your money for Mr. Stano, you're in the hospital, correct?
Yes.
So that meeting didn't happen, correct?
Correct.
And the next meeting that happens with Anthony, or the next contact with Anthony, isn't until about 2 weeks later, correct?
Yes.
And that was June 26th, correct?
Yes.
Would you agree that you were released from the hospital on June 23rd in the evening?
Yeah. Sounds right.
Okay, and that was a Monday.
Yes.
You agree with that? So the 24th was a Tuesday, 25th is a Wednesday, and you call him on the 26th, correct?
Yes.
Now my question to you is, on the 23rd, Monday, 24th or 25th, is Mr. Stano calling you saying, hey, Henry, where's my money? Did he call you at all?
No.
In fact, you called him on the 26th, correct?
Yes.
And you told him on the 26th that Vinny is always late, right?
Yes.
But you also told him that you would see if you could arrange for a meeting the next day on the 27th, right?
Yes.
Okay, now on the 27th, you in fact met with Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And that was the day, and we talked about this earlier, where you call Anthony, you tell Anthony to come to your house, correct?
Yes.
And you pay him $650, right?
Yes.
And the FBI determined how much you were going to pay him that day, right?
Yes.
At this point, on June 26th of 2003, you're about 8 weeks behind, correct? 6?
Yes. Yeah.
Many
behind.
weeks behind.
Yes.
Correct? And $650 was a very, very, very small fraction of what you in your mind should have been paying, correct?
Yes.
And you told us earlier that your payments were about $5,000 a week, correct?
Yeah. Once it got up there, it could vary lower, but yes.
Okay. So if you're 6 weeks behind at $5,000 per week, how much is that?
If you times 6 by 5, it's 30.
Okay. And you give him $650, right?
Yes.
And you would agree with me, and you heard Mr. Stano's voice when you listened to that transcript or you listened to that recording this morning. He was agitated, correct?
Yes.
But when he told you, tell him I'm agitated, he didn't sound agitated at you, correct?
Correct.
And you also told Anthony that this guy was making 40% on the money that Anthony lent to you that you lent to him, correct?
Yes.
And it was only after you told him that this guy who's not paying you, so you can't pay him, meaning Anthony, that he's making 40%, that he makes those statements about him having 2 gorillas, correct?
Yes, sometime after that, yes.
And he's not saying that he's going to stick 2 gorillas on you, correct?
Correct.
Now, let's talk about another recording that the government did not play. The July 9th meeting with you and Anthony and Vinny. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was at your mother-in-law's house, correct?
Yes.
And that was a meeting that you arranged, correct?
Yes.
And before that meeting, on July 3rd, there was supposed to have been another meeting, correct? With you and Vinny and Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And despite the fact that there was this meeting set up for July 3rd, Vinny doesn't show, according to the story plan, correct?
Right.
According to the script, right?
Yeah, he doesn't show.
Okay, and you tell Anthony, look, Anthony, he didn't show again, and this is typical of Vinny's persona or Vinny's MO, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, may I have one moment, please?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that the government play HS 141.
What is HS 141?
It's a recording of a meeting between Anthony Stano and Henry Scipione on July 3rd, 2003. At 32...
We don't have that recording. That wasn't what we played early this morning.
Your Honor, it's a recording
No,
that they had previously provided a transcript of, and a recording that they previously said that they were going to use in this case. They decided not to use it, and I was also told at the beginning of the case that they would have everything that was on our hard drives.
Your Honor, we have the recordings that we played today for the witness and the transcripts that the jury saw. If the defense wants to play other recordings, they're more than free to do so, and they have someone here who can do that.
May I ask Cornerstone to see if they can pull it up off of my hard drive, Judge? I'll give you the time in 1 minute. At 32:40, could you start the tape? Sir, would you agree if I told you that July 3rd was a Thursday? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, that's you talking to Anthony on the phone, correct?
Yes.
Before he comes to the house, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling Anthony that Vinny, again, couldn't make it to this July 3rd meeting because he got tied up because of the holidays, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to July 9th. July 9th was the meeting I talked about earlier between yourself, Anthony Staino, and Vinny, correct?
Yes.
And that's the first time Anthony meets Vinny, correct?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what Anthony did to Vinny on that date.
He talked to him.
He didn't threaten him or hit him or in any way talk to him in an assaultive or threatening manner whatsoever, correct?
Correct.
Anthony was, in fact, cordial with him, was he not?
Gentlemen.
Let's go to July 15th. And that was a recording that was played for you this morning. Well, let's back up for a minute. On the June 27th recording, June 27, 2003, Anthony says to you, he's flipping the F out. You remember that?
Yes.
And you said that you thought Anthony was referring to Mr. Legambi when he said that, right?
Yes.
And let's talk about July 3rd again. And if I said earlier that the government didn't use this recording, they did in fact use the July 3rd recording. If I said that they didn't, I was mistaken. But they didn't use the July 9th recording, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you didn't hear a recording played this morning of you
No.
and
Right.
Vinny and Anthony meeting, correct?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear one.
Can Government Exhibit 14A or 1.4A be put up on the monitor? We go to page 2, line 1. don't think this is 1.4A, page 2. Can you look at line 1?
Yes.
That says, so I haven't even brought this to his attention. This is July 3rd, correct? Which is obviously after June 27th, correct?
Yes.
And on this date, Anthony's telling you, and you told us earlier that you assume that, again, he's referring to Mr. Lagambi, right?
Yes.
And it says there, I haven't brought it to his attention, correct?
Correct.
So obviously what Anthony told you on June 26th or 7th when he said he's flipping the F out was in fact a lie, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. That's the
Yeah,
statement.
sustain.
Well, the two seem to be inconsistent, do they not?
Yes.
Objection.
Very
Well,
inconsistent.
that's not for the witness to say.
Well, he tells you once that...
That's a conclusion and an argument to be made.
Move on. If we could go to page 6 of the same exhibit, 1.4A. Anthony says at line 13, he says, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not for nothing, it ain't like I'm a strapper. What he's saying to you is that he's not putting pressure on you for these payments, right? What he's saying essentially is that he's being reasonable with you, correct?
Yes.
And then he also says something about, like the old days. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
What he meant by that was, this isn't like...
Your Honor. He's testifying for his client.
You know, Judge, I'll move on.
Yeah.
The list that we talked about, or you talked about with Mr. Jacobs and with Mr. Hahn from the U.S. Attorney's Office, that list was a list that you prepared, correct, originally?
Yes.
Because he didn't know who these fictitious people were, correct?
Correct.
So this is information you would had to have given to Anthony, right?
Yes.
So originally that list that we saw that was in someone else's handwriting that you couldn't identify was a list that was created by yourself, correct?
Yes.
The agreement, the cooperation agreement that was up on the screen earlier, do you remember that?
Yes.
In that cooperation agreement, it also provides for you're getting a bonus after you testify in this case, does it not?
You got to show it to me.
Can that be put up on the screen again? Can we see the last paragraph? Or the last page, rather? We'll go up to the next page before that. Page before that. If you look at paragraph 19A under termination, when the agreement is terminated, the FBI shall consider financially assisting Scipione as follows. The FBI will consider providing Scipione with a lump sum payment in an amount determined to be determined by the FBI, correct?
For relocation.
Right. So you're expecting to get even more money than what's been paid to you so far, correct?
If I relocate, yes.
I don't have anything further. Thank you.
Any other counsel on cross-examination?
Just briefly, Your Honor, if I could.
Okay.
Hi.
My name's Maggie Grasso. I represent Damien Canalicchio. You're a bookmaker. You were for 20-plus years, is that correct?
Yes.
Just want to clear up a couple things. As a bookmaker, you would take bets over the phone, correct?
Yes.
And you would give out lines to your bettors over the phone, is that correct?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that the prime time booking hours were generally on the weekend, Saturday to Sunday, around 11:30 p.m. to 7:30?
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope of the direct examination, it's not relevant.
I don't see it too relevant here, but what's the point? You want to find out from him what?
Well, I've already asked him a couple questions. I just wanted to find out if he would agree with me that the prime time booking hours would be
What's
on
that
the
got to do
weekends,
with
and
the
there would be
loan
heavy
shark
phone activity on the weekends.
Well, he testified as to doing that. That question will be appropriate, but that may be it. Do you understand when the rephrase the question?
Well, your highest call volume for
Yes.
accepting bets and giving lines to your bettors would be on the weekends. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, sure.
And did you ever have occasion to have bettors, if they lost money, you would collect from them, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. This does not have any relevance to the subject matter of the direct examination.
Well, he said he took
Well,
books.
he did. He was a bookmaker. But
Yes.
The subject matter of the direct examination is about a loan sharking payments made by Henry Scipione to Anthony Stano. Now, she's trying to get into all kinds of evidence about bookmaking, which is totally irrelevant and outside the scope of direct.
He brought it up, and that's what he's testified that he did.
We'll go one more question.
You would collect money from bettors who lost, correct?
Yes.
All right, and did it ever happen in your experience as a bookmaker over the 20 years that sometimes one bettor might bring you the funds that another bettor had lost in addition to the
Objection, Your
funds
Honor.
that he might have lost?
Sustained.
I have nothing else, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
No, thank you, Judge.
Okay, very well. Okay, how long is your redirect?
10 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Now, Mr. Scipione, we'll clarify a couple of things. Counsel asked you questions about the start of you taking money from Anthony Stano. That started in what year?
2001.
And you said initially to the members of the jury that your first loan was about $1,000.
Correct.
And you paid that off.
Yes.
And then you borrowed some more money.
Yes.
And that continued to 2003.
Yes.
So from 2001, 2002, you consistently made loan sharking payments to Anthony Stano.
Judge, these are leading questions.
Oh, wait a minute. We're not doing redirect again. Specific, pinpointed questions involving cross-examination. That's all. Otherwise, we will be here 6 months. So we're going to do this very pinpointedly. Refer to what it is that you're asking. You testify in cross-examination to the following, and then you want to clarify that.
Mr. Jacobs asked you questions about when you approximately told Anthony Staino and the FBI about the fictitious debtors that supposedly you were loaning money to.
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you tell Anthony Staino the reason why you needed more loans and multiple loans was because you were giving that money to other people?
Yes.
And was that before you even had one contact with the FBI?
Yes.
And when you had contact with the FBI on May 16, 2003, did you tell the FBI that's what you told Anthony Staino?
Yes.
And that's what you testified to today? That
Yeah.
the whole reason why you got multiple loans from him was because you told him they were fictitious debtors?
Yes. I was. Yes.
So everything that you said today, you told the FBI on May 16th, and you told Anthony Staino before you had contact with the FBI.
Objection.
Yes.
Leading question, Judge.
Yeah, sustain.
Now, counsel asked you questions about making recordings, the inability of you to make recordings at certain situations.
Yes.
You testified earlier that the FBI gave you a recording device for the telephone,
Yes.
and that you had that with you pretty much consistently throughout your cooperation.
Yeah. I
You
had
had it
it.
at home.
Yes.
All right.
Objection. These are all leading questions. You had it at home, for example. You had it
Okay,
with you.
they're laying out the
I'm trying to
foundation.
pinpoint the area of the cross-examination, Your Honor.
Okay, let's proceed.
All right. So, and counsel asked you who you were living with at the time that you were cooperating with the FBI.
Yes.
And who were they?
I was living with Janice and my wife and her at her mother's home.
What problems would happen for you if Anthony Staino called you while you were at home with your wife or your mother-in-law?
I wouldn't be able to record it
Why not?
because they were there.
And were there times when he called your house or the house you were living in when your family members were around?
There was times that he called.
And did that prevent you from recording those telephone calls?
If my family was around, I didn't record them.
Now, counsel asked you, went over a lot of tape Mr. Pagano did
Yes.
about this delaying tactic that you were trying to communicate to Anthony Staino with Vinny.
Yes.
Now, and counsel asked you questions about the context and the nature of your relationship with Anthony Staino.
Yes.
Now, in April of 2003, when he came to the store and you told him you didn't have the money, and he told you that he was going to put a bullet in your head, was he joking when he said that to you?
I didn't take it as a joke. So no, I didn't take it as a joke.
What did you believe if you didn't have the money the following week?
I believed something was going to happen to me. It was a lot of money.
All right. Now, the following week, you borrowed the money from your cousin and you actually made a payment.
Yes.
Okay. There's no problems there with Anthony Staino when you made the payment.
No.
All right. Now, Mr. Jacobs and Mr. Pagano put on that screen 56 payments you made during the course of your cooperation with the FBI.
Yes.
And all of those payments were recorded.
Yes.
All right. And each time you gave Anthony Staino a certain amount of money.
Yes.
So every single time he went away, lining his pockets with loan sharking money.
Objection, Judge. Three leading questions in a row.
Leading
Judge.
question,
Stop
argumentative,
coming across, Judge. Redirect. Redirect.
What
beyond
happened?
the scope.
What happened? What happened with?
You have 4 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor. What happened, Mr. Scipione, when you told him, when you told Anthony Staino that Vinny couldn't meet with him and make certain payments?
What happened when I said Vinny couldn't meet with him? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
He was a little agitated. You know, he was agitated at the fact that I gave money to somebody else, and then Vinny wasn't meeting up with him.
Now, counsel asked you questions about your relationship with Anthony Stano and suggested that you had a friendly relationship with him. I may ask you, when you testified when Mr. Pagano was asking you questions, that Vinny, he was very agitated when you told him Vinny couldn't make certain meetings. It was delaying
Ask and answer,
payment. Right?
Yes.
So,
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Well, we haven't heard the question yet. Go ahead.
if this was all a friendly exchange between the two of you, why did Anthony Stano tell you not to say certain things on the phone to Vinny?
He just didn't want me to talk to him on the phone. He wanted me to talk to him in person.
Why did he say that he thought that Vinny was a cop and he was worried about him?
Mr. Stain is speculative as to what Mr. Stain has thought. Okay, you have anything else?
Moment, Your Honor. That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just follow up with something Mr. Hines about and redirect? One question.
You have one question.
Sir, you said that in April 2003, Anthony Stano threatened to put a bullet in your head, right?
Yes.
You made hundreds of recordings between yourself and Anthony Stano, correct?
Yes.
Where he never makes remotely a similar comment or threat, correct?
Yes.
Yes, I am correct.
Correct. It's from.
So we need to believe you. We need to find that you're truthful to believe
Argumentative.
that Mr. Stano said that to you.
Argumentative. Okay, one question is over. It's 4:30. This concludes our session for the day. Remember that we will not hold session on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we will resume on Thursday at 9:30. So it is important for you to follow my directions since we have this hiatus, so to speak. Please do not discuss the matter among yourselves or with anyone. Do not read or watch or listen to any reports, if there are any, concerning this trial. And we'll be ready to go on Thursday at 9:30 first thing in the morning. So we'll see you then. Leave your notes here in the courtroom, and they'll be safeguarded for you. Thank you.
Judge, can we have 1 minute?
You may step down. Okay, please be seated. Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you, Judge. On our last appearance before you pre-trial, at the very end of the appearance, I raised an issue, and here was the issue. I inquired of the government whether they would have in their audio system all of the recordings. They advised us they were not going to play, and the answer was yes. I then asked a second question, and the second question was, will you have all of the recordings in your system? So if we want to play one that you have not transcribed, not one of the ones you deleted, one of the ones you never transcribed, will it be there? And Mr. Labor responded again, yes, we have it all. Now, I'm not an IT person, but I have a clear recollection of posing those two questions, and I see today that when Mr. Pagano asked for a particular tape, and I think it happened to be one of the ones that was transcribed, and then they told us they were not going to play. There were about 30 of them. The government did not have it. So I'd just like a clear answer to the question. Has it changed since last time?
Your Honor, it has not changed.
Okay.
Mr. Pagano gave us an exhibit number, a defense exhibit number. We had no idea what he was talking about. So if they would give us, and this was brought up in pre-trial litigation, Your Honor, we asked them for the courtesy of letting us know in advance the tapes they're going to use in cross-examination, and they vigorously resisted that and prevailed. And now they're turning it against us.
Different issue.
If they give us the courtesy of telling us what they intend to use in cross-examination, we can make it, and assuming it was on the pre-trial list, we can make it available. But they're playing hide and seek, and now they're suggesting we're playing hide and seek.
Different
and
issue.
That's not true.
Judge, that's a different issue. Mr. Labor is confusing the two issues. He's referring to the Starks issue.
Not at all.
We made the agreement before Judge Rice to provide transcripts a day before their use in cross-examination. If we're not using transcripts and we're just relying on tapes, that's different. There is no Starks issue. So all we need to do is tell them the tape when we want to use it. Now, either they do have more in their system or they don't have more in their system, and we have 4 or 5 days to thrash this out now, which is why I raise it now instead of Thursday morning.
Your Honor, they have a pretrial list.
Let's hear from Mr. Pagano. Yes.
What I referred to when I asked for a certain recording number of Mr. Scipione is HS, I think, 138, maybe. That's the number that the recording is designated as by the government's inventory list. When we got all these recordings digitally, each witness was given a subfile, and in each subfile there are several recordings, and each recording is numbered and initial. And HS was Henry Scipione, obviously, and number 138 was the recording number per the government's information that they provide, for the discovery that they gave. So, and I also asked for it by date as well, Judge. I also asked for the June 11th recording. I don't know why they wouldn't have been able to get it with the date as well. So they had the recording number that they gave it, and they also had the date.
Your Honor, I have a note from my IT operator. It says I can't find it without proper notice. So can't they put it, and I can't put it in the trial presentation without it, so can't they just let us know?
Well, the question is this. I think Mr. Jacobs asked it from a very foundational point of view. Do you have available, apparently that may suggest you don't, do you have available in court, and can it be displayed, any of the recordings that were made and disclosed to defense counsel during discovery by counsel that's simply identifying the number or the identifier that was given to that particular recording during the discovery process?
Your Honor, I understand the answer to that question. Yes, we do have the digital database of all our discovery. Yes, Your Honor, it's in the other room.
Right, but I mean, it's here somewhere.
We can have access to it, Your Honor,
Okay.
if they give us reasonable notice of what it is they want.
Well, but the point in cross-examination is not to do that, I suppose. If he says to you in the middle of a cross-examination, I'd like to see HS 121-2, what happens then?
Your Honor, I think if he says H-122, that's not what's on our pretrial list. That may have been what was in the...
No, that's what I think is what
As I said, Your Honor, they have both. Okay. I will check with our IT person to see what they need to know to pull it up.
Can I make a simple suggestion? Can we give them a date? Can this computer find the conflict in a date?
Your Honor, may I make an even more simple suggestion, Your Honor? The disk that Mr. Pagano was referring about, they've had since July.
Right.
So they should be able to pull it up from their disk. They don't have to depend on our disk.
Not that disk.
I think it's
Judge, I have a suggestion. Cornerstone has it all available. All we have to do is coordinate. And my plan was at 4:30 to have a meeting with all defense counsel, given Your Honor's decision at sidebar, and explain to them that we could have this done very easily.
Okay, fine.
Your Honor, can we just revisit that, because this was specifically addressed, the government raised it, and Magistrate Rice addressed it, and it's an order. I don't have the order in front of me, but I know he wrote an order. If retained paid counsel is going to make use of Cornerstone, which is being paid for by the taxpayers,
Right.
they have to contribute to that.
Well, they may be assessed.
If I'm assessed, Judge. I'm not going to
It will be assessed, but I think that the public is assisted if we don't waste time.
Correct.
So there will be a cost to the defendants for doing that, and we will assess that cost. But I think that the benefit to the efficient administration of justice warrants it.
We want to speak to
Judge, the only other issue I want to raise very quickly is this. I'd like to move Government Exhibit 9A1 and Defense Exhibit D1.
Okay.
I don't know what your practice is. Do you take custody of them?
No.
You don't?
Each of the lawyers in the case maintains as officers of the court custody of the exhibits that have been admitted into evidence.
Well, I move the admission of those two.
They are admitted.
Thank you.
Anything further? See you Thursday at 9:30.
Thank you, Judge.